How many of us have experienced traffic? That's good. Well, not me. And how many of us experience traffic daily? Okay. And another question. By a show of hands, how many of us have been on a safari? Oh, wow. That's good. I'll take you on a short one today. How do we feel when we encounter traffic? And frustrating, depressing. If you're driving on the roads of Nairobi, it can get violent. But yeah, that's the general feel. So this is a story about my life. In 2012, I moved to Nairobi from Mombasa. Now, Mombasa is a coastal town in Kenya, small, very touristic town, but very small, like a village. Whereas when I moved to Nairobi, it's the capital of Kenya, the central business district of Kenya, and 4 million people buzzing, bustling city. The first thing I encountered in Nairobi, horrible traffic. Just about a 6-kilometer drive would take me about an hour, 2 hours on bad days. And this is why we're here, because of traffic. This never happened. The car-free day. But the problem is real. So in 2012, I moved to Nairobi. I joined the family business in Nairobi, and I had a serious problem. I started getting very upset early morning. Before I got to work, I was stressed, frustrated, 1-hour journey. We have public transport called matatus. How many of us have been to Nairobi? I'm sure you have seen the matatus, yeah? So yeah, exactly. So it's hard getting to work. At 6:30 you're leaving, you're getting to work at 8. It's a tough life. So in 2013, I had the fortunate blessing of meeting Robin Sharma, a famous author, the monk who sold his Ferrari. And he was on tour with his 5 a.m. club book. And on launching and meeting him, it changed my life. And the 5 a.m. rule became one of the mantras of my life. So I decided to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, and it's been clockwork since. Now, many people would say, let's go to the gym. Before going to work, I decided to do something else. I decided to go to the Nairobi National Park. One decision that has brought me here today. Why Nairobi National Park? So, since I've been a young boy, I had a small green Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles camera. So I always had a passion for photography. And Kenya is wildlife capital of the world. So growing up in Mombasa, meeting a lot of tourists, it was something that I always looked up to and looked forward to. So I decided to go and practice what I started loving, and just to see the wild and to enjoy a couple of hours in nature before going to work. Now the bonus of all this thing. What's going on?
Shut the door.
So why did I choose Nairobi National Park because I loved photography and I was starting to enjoy wildlife. And for me, that presented a perfect opportunity to combine the two. And more importantly, my office is 3 minutes from the gate of Nairobi National Park. So it has several gates, and my general morning routine would be I get up at 5 a.m. I'd have 15 minutes to myself, get ready, and by 5:30 I'm out of the house. It's still very dark, in my Land Cruiser and on the way to one of the two gates of the park. Generally, I'll enter the main gate and exit the east gate, which is next to my office. Now, this just started as a way to avoid traffic, and never, or not in my wildest dreams, did I know that one day I'd be here, one day my photos would be in the BBC Wildlife magazine or Nat Geo, etc. So I just started going, couple of hours, 1 hour, 1.5. My main aim was one line. That's it. If I go to see one cat, I'm done for the day. I can go to work. And just imagine going to work after that, right? Awesome. Nobody else gets to do that, sorry. I am truly lucky that I live in this beautiful city called Nairobi. How many of us see a lion on the way to work? Exactly. So that is how lucky I am, and it's really special. And from 2013, I made it my mission to just go every day in the morning. Little did I know that I became totally addicted. My camera was always with me, and I fell in love. I became mad about the park. I'd drive into the park when somebody just called me and told me, Paris, there's a leopard on the tree here. And imagine we're having a meeting, I'll be like, two options. You jump in with me, we go see a leopard, or we reschedule the meeting. And this happened several times, and a couple of people came and saw a leopard with me. But yeah, 3 minutes from my office is not too far. 20 minutes with a leopard. So yeah, this has been the basis of my madness, my love, my passion, as you said, for wildlife, and that's why I started going to Nairobi National Park. You can see that's the east gate, and that's my office there. So just 3 minutes, 1.1 kilometers. So super easy and super convenient. What is Nairobi National Park? Has anyone here been to Nairobi National Park? 1, 2, 3, amazing. 5, too good. Very good. I'm so happy to see that. So there you go. But Nairobi National Park is 117 square kilometers of wildlife protected area in Nairobi. It's not outside of Nairobi, it's inside of Nairobi. 7 kilometers from the center of Nairobi. 3 minutes from my office. At 5:30 in the morning, about 12 minutes from home. At 7 in the morning, 1 hour from home. So yeah, and it's home to 80 mammal species, 400 species of bird or more. It is a very special rhino mating and reproduction ground. We supply rhinos to the entire Kenya from Nairobi. They are translocated. So it's a very sacred ground for the rhino. We have both black and white rhino. In Nairobi, we have about 40 lions, we have leopards, A remarkable story is when I started going to this park in 2012, there were no cheetahs, or we believed there were no cheetahs. Today there's about 7. So that's, and since 2012, we've had no poaching in Nairobi National Park. So it's a highly protected park. It is the home of a lot of wildlife species, but it's also a very large green space that provides good oxygen, clears the air for Nairobians, and it's a space for people to enjoy nature. Now I don't stand up there normally. I try and shoot very low. That's how you learn as a photographer. So my daily routine, as I said, I leave very early, a couple of hours in the park, try and find these beautiful cats, and this is what I've been doing since 2013. I believe even the warden doesn't know the park the way I do. Some of the roads I don't think many people even know. Mohawk. Mohawk, I spent 3 years with Mohawk. From 2013 to 2016, I fell in love with this man. He became my friend. I really think he knew me, which is hard to believe, but every morning I would look for him in this similar area. It was called Lone Tree area. And either I'd just find him by seeing him or he's definitely going to roar. And you just wait to hear his roar, which direction it's coming from. Now with Mohawk, I spent hours, mornings, afternoons, days, and he was a true king, a fighter, beautiful, black name, very beautiful language. And he had a little bit of a mohawk, so the name. He was a dominant male from the Kingfisher pride. And I spent countless hours with him until a very dark day. The day that shattered me into pieces. On 31st March 2016, and I was with him the day before, 30th March, with my family, my neighbors. I still remember this morning, I think it was Easter Monday or Sunday or Good Friday. We were with him, I think it was Easter Monday, and that's next week. So that's 9 years ago. The south side of Nairobi National Park is unfenced, so it is still truly wild. The north side towards the city, it is fenced. So he decided to go for a walk on the south side. Unfortunately, he was spotted by some humans, and they called the Kenya Wildlife Service. However, the roads were bad. By the time Kenya Wildlife got there, they were delayed. In the meantime, the whole neighboring community came. Everyone wants to see the commotions. Everyone's coming, and they surrounded Mohawk. Sorry. They surrounded him. They cornered him. He was trapped. He had nowhere to go. And feeling trapped, he lashed out at a motorbike rider. He didn't bite him. He didn't bite him. I can still shout. Battery low. Sorry. He didn't bite him, but he lashed out, and the following was not nice. A civilian with his car ran Mohawk over on the hind feet, broke his legs, and eventually he was shot. Normally in this situation, we have two other options. One is you dart him, sedate him, and bring him back to the park, or you just drive him back to the park slowly. However, this unfortunate, horrible, I mean, I cried. I cried the whole night. I was out for dinner with some friends and we call it Koroga in Kenya, and I couldn't. I was finished. I spent a lot of time with him. So that morning, the next morning, I decided that that's it. I cannot just sit here and keep quiet about one of my best friends being just brutally murdered. And I'm better with animals than humans. Sorry. So yeah, that was painful. Kenyan rangers killed a lion that pounced a man in a crowd that after it escaped from the park. That escaped from the park. Park is open. It is home. And I think this is what I want to share all over the world. This has become now my life purpose. Little did I know that trying to avoid traffic, I would actually change my entire life and I'd fall in love with a lion who would shape the future of my life, change me as a man, and affect me in so many ways. So, Nairobi National Park, it's such a beautiful space, so dear to my heart, and this is when I realized that there are threats. So many threats that can be faced here. One, human-wildlife conflict, as we just saw. Mohawk walked out of the park into a middle area where there's humans and there's wildlife. 70% of Kenya's wildlife is still outside the parks, not in protected areas. So education is very important here, I think, and that's what I decided to commit to and to do. Secondly, the park is in consistent threat of development projects. And you'll see in the next slide or so my photo on the front page of the newspaper. The park is also in danger of habitat loss for these animals. It keeps on shrinking. A road is built on the side, another road is built on the side. They built a railway through the middle of the park. I don't know if anyone's been there recently. The white elephant, but yes. So these are some of the threats this park faces, and there are even talks of absolutely this park is useless, close it down. Let's build an industrial park here, where the whole world is looking for green spaces. We haven't. Sorry, I can't walk around. Why protect Nairobi National Park? Well, if you've been to Nairobi, you know Nairobi has two very big lungs. One, the Karura Forest, and two, the Nairobi National Park. Nairobi is so popular for the international community to come and reside there. We have such a huge expat community, and one of the biggest reasons is our two lungs. We have a very green and beautiful city. I mean, who can say they got lions in their backyard? 2 hands for me. And leopards and rhinos. But yes, so it is our lungs. Spending time in nature, I think COVID-19 definitely taught us this in 21. But spending time in nature is healing. It heals you, it helps you get better. Helping the planet. 117 square kilometers of oxygen producing land. I'm sure we're helping the planet. And it is the home of many, many wild species, such as this kingfisher number 3. And so it's their home, and we should protect the home, and they deserve their home. And I think, of course, it's an important rhino mating ground. It's so important for the regeneration of the species, and that is one very important reason. Most importantly, for me, it is the crown jewel of Kenya. I call it the safari capital of the world, and I think it deserves so. So what did I decide to do? I decided that I have to do something. So 2017, I joined the Friends of Nairobi National Park Board for the next 4 years, and I dedicated myself to protesting on the roads, but raising funds, creating awareness, and giving a lot of time into especially this fight against the eventually built Standard Gauge Railway. But we tried our best, and at least my kids can say that I tried. I didn't want my kids to say, "Dad, what were you doing when this was happening?" I've got proof. So from being at the front of the fight for the railway to demonstrating on the roads to getting to court cases to getting funds from friends, I harassed a lot of people for money to support the cause. I also that's the lovely railway. I think it does one trip a day from Nairobi to Naivasha and back. Two carriages. So pointless. Anyways, apart from that, I also won an award and I donated my entire earnings to the Friends of Nairobi National Park for the Lion Lights project. Does anyone know what the Lion Lights is? Anyone here? Great. So Lion Lights is a predator deterrent system created by a young boy, Richard Chandaria. I think he was about 12 when he created this incredible system, which is now being used all over Kenya. So it's a simple system, solar panel to charge the battery. The battery is connected to a motorbike indicator. So the light keeps on flashing at night. This gives the illusion to cats that somebody is walking with a torch. So they don't come to that enclosure. More explanation? There. So the Maasai have the cows in an enclosure. We put the lights around the enclosure and the lights will blink at night to mimic a human walking. So a scarecrow in our terms. And the lions don't attack bombers where they feel there are humans present. So, and this, I donated my prize givings, and we also, My partner currently at Wow Safaris, a young boy at that time, he was about 14, and he was very passionate. So he came up with a sticker, which we sold so many of these stickers, also to car stickers, save our pride. And they went, yeah, we sold a lot. So this was one of our main projects, Lion Lights, and all over the south of Nairobi National Park, we have installed lion lights on hundreds of Maasai bones. My decision to avoid traffic changed me. Changed me as a human. It gave my life a meaning, a purpose. I was able to learn wildlife behavior. I was able to learn photography. I have zero professional photography training. I have zero professional guiding training. I have zero wildlife behavior training. I've learned this all practically spending days and hours with these beautiful cats. So it changed me, and it allowed me, the most important, it allowed me to get happy to work. I was also able to learn conservation. I dived into it blindly when Mohawk died, and I gave it my best. And eventually I did become a safari guide, and I launched my safari company, Wow Safaris. But most importantly, becoming a voice of the voiceless and a fighter of Nairobi National Park is the most important thing for me. My mission is very simple. It is to protect Nairobi National Park. And it is to inspire the next generation of wildlife lovers, photographers, and conservationists. As a photographer, my motto is very simple. Take only photos, leave only footprints. As a safari guide, my motto, it takes only one safari to create a lifetime lover of wildlife. I know those who've been there agree with me. As a conservationist, Nairobi is the safari capital of the world. And it is a symbol of hope that humans and the wild can coexist in peace and harmony. It is the success story of Nairobi that should inspire the world all over to protect and regenerate all that is possible. Sorry, I'll let you enjoy them. Painful, emotional. Who wants to know what happened? So, yeah, she killed it. I'm sorry, but she had 4 cups to feed. I don't have that photo here, but I do have it. Yeah, so that's something you have to document, and my job is to document and share the reality. Sometimes it's not beautiful, sometimes it's painful, but yes, she had 4 babies, so she had to take one. What have I managed to achieve? I believe I was truly able to put Nairobi National Park on the world map of wildlife. The park now has the most number of individual visitors in any park in Kenya. The park now has the most number of different nationalities visiting than any other park in Kenya. Zero poaching since 2012. And increase in revenue for this park. But I think most importantly, I'm proudly happy that I have been able to inspire so many young photographers, videographers, and conservationists in Nairobi. It's amazing now when you go. When I used to go 7, 8 years ago, there were hardly any cars Monday to Friday. But right now, you'll find a lot of young boys, girls on their own driving in and learning the trade. So I'm very happy about that. How can you, geography teachers, students, and university lecturers, make a difference? Simple. Create awareness. Talk about Nairobi National Park. Talk about all the wildlife in this world. Create future leaders who understand the delicate balance of nature and the interconnection with our own existence. This is very important, and I'd like to take you back to our two lungs and an example from Mumbai. If Nairobi doesn't have these two lungs, it suffers. Karura Forest and Nairobi National Park give us clean air, good oxygen. In Mumbai, when the vultures went extinct, their health bill went up like $100 million a year. Just the health bill, because the vultures went extinct. Therefore, it is critical that we explain to our future leaders and teach them how we are intertwined totally with the space we live in, with the space around the entire planet, the entire Earth. We shouldn't be looking at it as just England or Nairobi. We should be looking at it as the whole world now. And most importantly, inspire the next generation of Sir David Attenboroughs. And I'd like to give you a small video. Sound? Can you hear? Green, yeah, small green camera, pronounce your age. When I'm behind the steering wheel of my safari like this, all I can look forward to is sight being able to watch and learn about their lives is so intriguing and satisfying in a way I just can't describe. I once safari my photography. First love when I moved to Nairobi. You change everything for me. Learned about cats or all wildlife. I learned about photography. I learned about combining the two. And it changed my life. I never thought that I would be taking clients and teaching people photography or I would be inspiration to them. And that my purpose was to promote this park. So I think just pick it up in the background and run all over the world. There's more than 110 in different countries and cities I feel lucky. I started farming in my backyard. It became my classroom where I studied wildlife behavior, photography, and eventually conservation. Wildlife photography, safari planning, and hosting safaris has become my way to spread my love for life and to create awareness for the conservation of all these species. It is very important for us to speak up for all of the voiceless beings on Mother Earth. I truly believe that nature and wildlife must be protected at all costs for us humans to survive and thrive for humanity. Looking at my own children grow and appreciate nature has been a real blessing. And they are a big inspiration for me to become the voice of the voiceless. My wife has been an absolute backbone of my success. And the saying, behind every successful man there is a woman, is absolutely true. In 2015, I decided to take my passion for wildlife photography seriously and to the next level. And that is when I made my move to full-frame camera and LCD lenses. The Canon EF400 became my go-to lens and is still probably my favorite and most used lens for wildlife photography. Upgrading my equipment over the years, especially the bodies of the 1K series and now the R series, has really allowed me to actually perform to the best of my ability and capture some of the most incredible moments that I can dream of. Wildlife is unpredictable, and therefore it is very important to be ready for the future. When I arrive at any site, I will first assess the condition of the animal. I will try and anticipate what the next move will be and position the car accordingly. Thereafter, I will understand the light and the setting of the lens and keep my camera. High burst frame rate, high ISO capability, animal tracking, and inbuilt image stabilization are features that have defined my photography process. With the camera in my hand and a good camera tracking, my shutter is in full blast, my heart pumping full with adrenaline. This is the moment I forget about everything. I am about to develop my generation. When I was young, I always liked the God. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Floor is open for any questions.
Any questions, anyone? You can always come down and speak.
Sure.
Question?
Thank you. Maybe you were saying how you started making your journey through the park initially to avoid traffic, and the more people are doing it to get those across. Is there some measure in place to stop the traffic just taking a route through the park and becoming a lot of traffic?
Sorry, sir?
Is there any measures in place to stop too many people using the park as a traffic route instead of actually looking at the animals?
Okay, so nobody uses it as a traffic route. I used it to spend 2 hours. So, so yeah, currently there are no restrictions of how many people can enter the park at what particular given time. That is a big debate, technically currently going on, especially for the Masai Mara, which in July, August can get very packed, full of traffic. If anyone's waiting for the migration, they'll know. So yeah, that is definitely an important question, a thought process that many conservationists are looking at. And however, there's a two-sided sword to this because we need the money to protect the wildlife. So do we stop people going into the wild? Yes. Diesel engines in the park, are they good for the park? Some of those questions. Anyone else?
How do people who live in Nairobi experience the national park, given there's an entry fee to get in? Does it become a barrier because the national park is unaffordable for some people, and are there things in place to get everyone access to that wildlife?
Again, a very important question and very difficult for many people to access this park. You need a car. It's a high-end product. Elitist, I don't know. But yes, it's difficult. I know KWS sometimes have buses running on special holidays and stuff. But still, yes, you have to pay entry fee. Although KWS, the government sometimes does run free entry days for Kenyans on public holidays and things like that. But yes, I think I am a true believer that there should be a one-day national park holiday for everyone, not to go on the same day, but I really think the more people, this is why I started my safari company. It's simple as this. Since I started fighting for wildlife and talking about wildlife and talking about Nairobi National Park and my photos going online, a lot of people started asking me, and then eventually I started taking a few people to the park, and that's when I realized when somebody heard my story and sort of fell in love with the lion or Coco the leopard that I love and understood my story, they would relate and they would fall in love also. So yeah, I believe the more people that visit the park, especially Kenyans, the better for the park.
Looking at that train line, to me that seems a fantastic way of letting more people access the park without having a car, without carbon emissions and all the rest of it related to that. Yet you say there's only one journey a day. Surely that would be an opportunity to allow people to experience the park.
It's a passenger and goods train, not a tourism train. So I don't think you can stop there. And even if you did stop, I don't think you get to see much, technically.
So why do they, I mean, it seems like, I thought when you explained it was built as
No, it's not built anything to do with the park. It was just built to go through the park. And luckily they put it above and they didn't put it on the ground. We lost 2 buffaloes that were shot dead during the construction because they entered the construction site, unfortunately. And I think a few of the lions were misplaced. But apart from that, construction was a bit loud and lots of explosions. But today I think the animals are okay with it. They don't really.
Thank you so much. This is really, really amazing. I was just curious, based on what you said regarding the vultures dying and health bills rising, I kind of wanted to ask what the connection was.
Vultures are so underrated. And hyenas. I call them the cleanup crew. So they clean everything. They clean the littlest bones, they clean everything that would lead to diseases. So if there are no vultures, they don't clean that, and that's why diseases spread more. So hyenas, vultures, they clean up the ecosystem technically by eating what the lions did not want to eat, if I can put it like that. And therefore, they clean up the system, the ecosystem. So if they're not there, then the ecosystem will remain with a lot of unfinished food that degrades, becomes poisonous, like that. The back first.
Hello, thank you. Your wonderful photograph there with the lioness who killed that sweet little growing family. Do you think that's analogous to the wider threat to national parks in places like Kenya, with the growing human population? Ultimately, people might prioritise, if think our population is going up at 4% a year. Wildlife is a luxury we can't afford because we've got kids to feed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. When I said human wildlife conflict, I use Mohawk as an example, but in Kenya, the number one reason for poaching is bushmeat. They eat the giraffes and zebras because they can't afford to buy food. So you are absolutely right. And of course, Nairobi Park is in constant threat development for humans, overpopulation. Currently, so I've been noticing this of late. When I started going into the park in 2012, on the south side, it will be completely dark. Very few lights. Today, full of lights. Full of lights. So you can see that it has developed on the south. So most of the migratory corridors of Nairobi National Park are closed, which will long term be a problem for us, because the lions will not be able to mate with other lions from outside, and the gene pool will not be strong enough. So I know that also bringing other lions in currently, etc., in the long term. So, and we are also talking about opening those corridors again. I think the long-term sustainability of wildlife has to be migratory paths to other wildlife areas. And Kenya should set an example, I think. Sorry.
That's really inspiring. Really inspiring photographs and presentation. I've got an ex-student who uses camera traps in Peru to look for spectral bears. Do you have a similar sort of monitoring system in the park?
So we had a Dutch university installing these GPS collars on lions. We have GPS collars on elephants, used for tracking, wild dogs also. So used for tracking, used for research, used to understand routes, used to understand behaviors, alpha elephants, the matriarchs, the alpha dogs. All of them are given the collars to a lot of research. San Diego Zoo runs a very big research program in central Laikipia, especially with our black leopards. I don't know if I had a photo of a black leopard in there, but yeah. We have a lot of black leopards in a certain area, and melanistic leopards. So San Diego Zoo does a serious research there on the wild dogs and the leopards. Yeah, so there's a lot of different organizations working on different projects. Thank you for the compliment. I was so nervous yesterday. Oscar, sorry.
I don't want to find out if this is different from the last time around.
Yes, so Nairobi Park is in Nairobi, Masai Mara is about 5 hours away. Yeah. Kenya has maybe 42 parks and conservancies. Masai Mara is just one. Yes, the most famous one. But this is the best one. Good. Thank you.
Thank you.